I don't know how else to reach him.
So I'm in the other meeting and there's nobody there.
Yeah, because Ed told them that he was sending them the email.
Yeah,
They were on.
yeah.
Right.
So Ed said, I'm gonna send you the email.
Yeah, and it's based on the website that, you know, the WPCA server, it said it got sent.
Okay, are they in the waiting room?
I'm looking at the waiting room right now and I don't see anybody. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm looking at the participants. I don't see anybody in waiting.
And the rest of us just came in automatically. I think they've taken waiting room off. Same thing happened in the other meeting as well. The other side.
Yeah, they took it off.
We just walked.
Well, okay, let's begin the meeting. We'll have to, sorry, we'll have to continue on. I don't know why. They may join us here in a minute. Okay, so it is now 7:18, sorry. Let's call the WPCA meeting January 25th, 2022. Share the screen, please. You want me to share the, all right, I can do that. My mouse is very, right now crappy. It's not working too well. Here we go.
And I'll make your roll call easy for you. All the members of the commission are present.
All right, yeah, that's great.
So we don't have any appointment alternates.
Yeah, I am assuming, looking for them, there was, unfortunately, there was a, we'll have to go back to that. So there'll be no appointment of alternates. And so we'll have a review. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, WPCA meeting of December 21st, 2021.
Second.
And any omissions or corrections or additions that are required.
There's two corrections.
Okay.
On the report from the sewer report, on the, item 2. Pause right there. You were just out.
Oh, was I ready?
Yeah, back up.
There we go.
Yeah, the spike in pressure, it says pausing. It should say pause.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
And then on item 5, there must be new business.
Right. Oh, I did this.
No, right there, item 5. Is item 5 there?
Right here. Status of
The last bullet, Rich Johnson is written as Rich and Johnson. It should
Oh,
be
Rich Johnson. Right.
Okay, that's all I found.
It needs to be corrected. You're right.
Those are editorials, so we don't need to make a motion to amend. We'll just have Christina get them.
Ray joined us.
Good. Well, welcome, Ray. That means we can get Dave on here. Susan. Good. Right. Yeah, sorry, Ray. That's amazing, huh?
We have so much fun at our meetings, we decided to have 2.
Go ahead and call for the vote, please.
Yes, so all those in favor of approving the minutes of December 21st, 2021, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstaining? Hearing none, it's approved. The minutes are approved. All right, the next item on the list is the water system monthly report, and I will note that, and I agree, they want to change the sampling point on Village Drive. That up there, right there. I'm kind of curious, Ray, why the other site, oh, I see, is no longer available. Why is 11 Village Drive no longer available to you?
The customer is not there.
Oh,
this house, so they said, no, we'll move out.
Oh, so they've got an empty house there.
Yeah, so we gotta just find another site in that area, that's somebody else.
So you actually have to take a point of use, right? You can't just take it out of a hydrant or anything. It has to be.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
used to be able, you could take it out, but not anymore.
I mean, isn't this kind of an administrative thing? Why would they deny that?
Because they don't want it to flush a long time. You have to do it when you're taking the THM, you have to do it at a certain time. You don't use your sink, it comes out of your sink at that time. So your first, when you use the water the first time for this test.
I got it.
So we can't just go up to the hydrant, open it because it comes out brown and then let it flush. And that defeats their purpose.
Okay. That was my only comment. Well, how long does that take for the DPH to make a decision?
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, there's no time for it.
Right. Item number 2, I have submitted, we are in communication, Bill, about thinking about the cost of upgrading or banning Kuzi and going to their system. I have not got we're still in discussion on that, whether it's worth to do. So I know in the past I've had, I know that they were citing some number like $100,000, but I don't know. We do pay, licensing fees. We do have some costs with Kuzi, so we're still working on what we may or may not save, like going to the route utility system.
Okay.
So it's still proceeding. Reports. They look pretty good, actually. The 91 to 120 days went down. We're not talking 60 to 90. We're not really talking too much in arrears, so unless anybody has any comments on that. It looks like we collected in November $165,000. To date, I don't see anything urgent in the water to date. That's the final numbers down below. Water usage, I think is a low budget. Let me see. Hard to tell. How much we've actually 159,000. Same thing with the sewer. I don't. Oops. Okay. Sewer, again, bottom line, I don't see anything. If I get my mouse to work, it will be bottom line. Now there is, we don't have an operation report, but I do need to bring up a couple of items. I don't know whether you're aware of it, but we had a failure on our decanter, one of the decanters, and the fail was a ground fault. So my initial thing was it was a short on one of the signal wires, but the electricians replaced the motor, they replaced the driver board, then found out it was a short in the signal wire. So I told Steve that we should probably not return the motor of the signal board. We need a spare anyway. We don't have one. The decanters are critical. You lose a decanter, you lose the whole SBR. The solids get into your system. They had to put a temporary. They can't dig up the conduit. They don't want to dig up the conduit in the winter time, so we put a temporary conduit in with new wire. And the system is working fine. The other thing to report is Lakeside is got a pump failure. We're trying to find out what's wrong. I'm not sure if it's the pump or the driver card. That's being looked into right now. And we have this, yeah, we're gonna discuss the pump system. That's later on. So that's it. So we got some issues with equipment. No surprise. Any questions on that? Gallup demo status. Ray, the ground's frozen. What's the excuse now?
They just got back to us. They wanted to, obviously, ground frozen and they don't want to go out the street, which I can understand because you're not going to get any blacktop now, obviously. So they came up with a plan to shut the valves off. Right after the pneumatic tank, unfortunately, the valve's there, and they're going to try to start draining the tank out and then start knocking it down. So that's their new plan that they came up with. So
So,
we approved it because obviously going out the road, they have to cut a section of pipe, and in this weather, if you start doing that, it can only get worse.
yeah, I'm curious, there's something in the tank, right?
There's about 18 inches of water that's been sitting in there. You have to pump it out.
Yeah,
So when they cut the pipe, we don't know if the valve has held, but we don't know which one. So if they open the valve, they have to drain that hole. It's about a couple, 400, 500 feet of pipe. So somebody's gonna get wet.
okay.
So if they pick a real cold day, it's somebody they don't like.
And it's where their driveway.
Yeah. But that's what they're trying to schedule. So, but they are slow.
Yeah, that's gonna come up with another couple of these things that let's talk about. So the next, what about, we got any progress on the water tower at all?
So I sent a call in. I haven't received it back to the water people that we use for the cameras and stuff. The corrosion tech. And they have to give me an estimate. Now, the estimate runs, it might be over $5,000. I'll send everything to you, obviously. But does the board have to approve all that first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we need to review that. I mean, it has to be done, but you know, we need to go through and review that and then ask questions.
Yeah, so I'll get them hopefully to go up there and give me an estimate.
Okay.
yeah, I think you have to get, if it's over 5,000, you have to get 3 quotes.
Other proposals, and I thought these were reasonable, but these guys are slow.
Yeah.
So just to remind everyone, Marcia wanted to know what it was going to cost approximately to do Village Drive and Sablewoods. Those are the two lasting things. And you see here, we're looking at $39,950. And the other one was $46,000. This is Sablewood. You know, I don't know, Terry, you know, putting a bond issue for that kind of money is probably not worth the cost to do.
I don't think so.
No, No.
Yeah, if you think about it, it costs money to do that bonding, but that's what she wanted to prepare for this year. But it's not a lot of money.
Put it in another bond issue?
Well, yeah, Bill, is there something else, is there a group of things that can be bonded?
well, but they've already started the process. We've got 4 school building projects and 2 or 3 or 4 town building projects, and they're bonding for all those. They've already started, you know, we've filed the motion. We're scheduling the public hearing on them, so it's too late to add on to those.
Okay.
But I don't think we would, I'm sure we would not bond $40,000 all by itself.
Or the combination, yeah, it would probably be about 80,000.
Yeah, I don't see us doing that.
You're not gonna do that. So we're gonna have to take a look at how we're gonna fund that,
Yeah,
you know. Those are the last two. And once this other one is done, we don't have any more properties because I think Steve Maslin has taken over some of the other properties.
And can we ask Bill to look to see if there might be other things coming down the road from the town?
Yeah,
That would be the thing to do.
yeah, I would wait. I can't think of anything that we're bonding. These are the school roofs, so that, it's $1 million projects. And we've waited a long time to do those. And
Nothing else in the capital plan?
I can go look, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head, Terry. I'll go look. So before we go on, Ed, back to the Fairway Drive Tower just for a second. If those bids are over 5,000, we have to get 3 estimates, not 1.
What are they painting the tower?
Yeah, no, I thought,
Just the inspection?
yeah, wasn't that $5,000 for the inspection?
I thought there was a $7,500 limit. Is that correct?
Let me go look.
I thought if it was under 7,500, we didn't have to do that.
It's 7,500.
Okay, yeah, we raised it. I'm sorry, never mind.
Yes,
Ed, there's 2 more participants in the meeting.
yes, I just invited. Who else?
David Blythe is here.
Oh, David, okay, good. All right, so we'll jump back to, because of the difficulty we're having, to the item of residents and property owners. So now just to give a background here, who wants to make some comments? So as you know, a well waiver was submitted for 170. It was issued to the DPH. The DPH gave a waiver for that, but then this is lot 150. And the same paperwork was submitted for the DPH to make a decision. Now, the DPH called me to clarify some things, but told me that they were not going to issue a permit for lot 150. Since that time, I've gotten some emails from the landowner and stating that Peter Gardner told them that you can't put a water line through wetland. And I kind of say, well, that's not true. The water line I see in the drawing is actually on the driveway. You got permission to put a driveway over the wetland, and on the shoulder of the driveway, you can put the water line. So that, that's not really, that wouldn't be an issue. However, to be honest, guys, it's the DPH that's made the decision. We just simply present the data and they make a determination of that. So all I told the DPH is, if you deny the well, we can provide you. Right, Ray?
Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead and if I don't know what other circumstances you want to bring up to us, but I don't, it's really it's not between us and yourself. It's actually between yourself and the DPH. We don't make a determination for well permits.
I Dave Blodgett.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, Dave, could you just give me your current address, please, which I need for the record?
Dave Blodgett, 7 Fargo Drive, Ledyard, Connecticut.
Okay.
And the property I'm referring to is 150 Gallup Hill Road, Ledyard, Connecticut.
Thanks.
So a couple more things that come to light, and I'm a little disappointed that all of this has taken me a year to kind of figure out. But The original submission that I did submit for the well exception, my argument was that even though my lot was within 200 feet of the main water line, the path that water line would have to take to get to my lot is over 400 feet. So I personally thought that was a pretty good exception, but it may not be. The state, I'm not sure, will agree with that. So I had discussed with this board, some of the options, and one of the options was just going right down my property line to the wetlands, which I started pursuing. And I haven't gotten a definite no yet, but today I spoke to Pete Gardner, who's my surveyor, and he told me that it's not just that it's wetlands, there's actually a conservation easement on those wetlands. And he said you cannot put a water line through a conservation easement area. So now we're back to running it alongside the driveway, which Ed had just mentioned before I jumped in. Now that brings a whole other set of challenges. Number one, I'm back to my argument of 400 feet, but now I'm trying to get power to the lot, and Eversource is planning on running poles down the driveway, just like the water line is proposed in the original site plan. The problem is when the developer first put this site plan together, which was approved by the town, he never got easements for utilities of any sort. So now Eversource is telling me I'm required to get easements from current landowners to put telephone poles, which I am sure if I try and dig up that driveway, which is not on my land, it's on my neighbor's land, there are no easements in place for me to do that. So I would have to get approval from both 142 and 148 to dig up that driveway. And they have no requirement to agree to that. They own the land, everything is in place. And I have an attorney already that I've hired and I've paid to work with Eversource to try and get easements. And he's told me that if these landowners don't agree, then I'm shit out of luck and I can't get power to my lot. So I'm just, really frustrated that with everything I've tried to present, I'm trying to get water to my lot, that a well is not approved, yet this guy right down the street, in a month, gets a well approved. I have no idea how or why. His lot is very similar to mine, it's a flat lot with road frontage. And, here I am, I may not be able to build a house because, the developer didn't get easements for me to go down a driveway to put in water and power. I'm sorry, one more thing. So again, you're not the authority to approve or disapprove, but I think that, I did see an email, Ed, from you to this Myra at the state that said, we basically are not agreeing that a well should be put in. We're saying that he's got road frontage and he can put in a water line. And I think that, if you guys really look at this and, look at me as a landowner that's just trying to build a house, I think that, comments to the state saying, we're okay with this well being put in would go a long way.
Yeah, I want to clarify something. That I can't say that. We have a town ordinance. I cannot, as a town representative, violate a town ordinance. Sure, you could try and do a waiver, but you know how that works. The town ordinance states explicitly that if you're 200 feet within a main line, you must tie in. Now, I did have a conversation with Myra in that that's all I said. And she understood that. She said, yeah, you got a town ordinance. Now, I don't know how, to be honest with you, I don't know how 170 got away with it. I'm like you. I have no idea. My communication with Eric and the DPH was he was inclined not to give the waiver. So I don't know what circumstance it changed his mind. The other thing is Myra said she's pushing this up to her supervisor, so there may not be anything there, but I guess I have a very dumb question to ask Tony, planning and zoning. How did that lot get approved without easements, utility easements? How's that even?
I totally agree. I mean, if you look at my deed, it says easements will be in place for utilities, right in the deed. But the easements were never put in place.
Yeah,
So-
that,
So I bought this looking at the deed saying, okay, I can go down this driveway with utilities, electric, water if I had to. And now I'm finding out that that's not the case. I'm not sure I can even build on this lot anymore.
so that means you can't even put a driveway.
The driveway is already in. But the driveway goes on the other two homeowners' lots to get to my land.
Yeah,
And
and
I can't put a driveway in my land because it goes through a conservation easement of wetlands. I guess that's, they made a deal to put that driveway in to supply all the lots initially. And at the time, they should have put the water lines in, or at least get easements to do it, and that was never done. So I know that this isn't your problem, but I'm just, again, back to the state, if I know that your position is we can't approve it, but can't we at least, in support the homeowner in saying, we can't approve this, but we support his argument. We think it's a good argument. Can't we at least do that? I mean, that's not approving it. We're just saying we support his argument.
yeah, I guess I would be more comfortable with that. We have to have a talk with planning and zoning. We don't approve lots, and we don't approve the conditions. I mean, I'm shocked that planning and zoning didn't discuss with you when you were trying to get permission to go ahead and put in a driveway and put in a house, that they did not discuss this with you. And I'm a little, there's a piece of this puzzle that the planning and zoning has to jump in and tell us.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know the answer to that, but off the top of my head.
I mean, when I talked to Mike Cherry, who was on planning and zoning, he showed me a drawing that showed a water line there. And I said, that's not an as-built, but it was a plan.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to go, well, the original lot was approved, not only for water, but it showed where the water was going to go. Now I understand utilities, Eversource doesn't want to put poles along a winding driveway where they have to put a pole every 20 feet. They want to do a direct line. That's the cheapest. Now I'm surprised that an underground wouldn't be cheaper in that way. So I'm wondering why they wouldn't put an underground power cable on the shoulder of your driveway. I mean, that can wander around, right? That can snake around the driveway. It doesn't need a direct line with poles.
But Ed, he doesn't own the driveway.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any easement to the driveway.
Well, then this is beyond us.
It's not correct. It is beyond us.
This is beyond us. If you
Right.
hold an easement, I don't know how we can even build a house there.
Right, but that's not something that we did or we can fix.
No,
I mean,
I can't fix
the
this.
deed said one thing and the easements are not in place. Somebody messed up.
Right.
It wasn't us.
Yeah, I know the solution to him is that if he gets a permit to put a well in, that's not going to be, he's still not going to have electricity to run it, unless he wants to run his own generator out there. So I'm kind of, this is new. Dave, this is new information. I didn't know you were having trouble with putting in power. This is,
Yeah, well, it is fairly new to me. It's only been the last 2 months that I've been working with Eversource, and to be honest, I didn't really think the water would be an issue because, as we discussed before, I thought I could go right through the wetlands, and I had actually discussed it with an excavator, and he said sure, but then this new information that Pete Gardner gave me, that's a conservation easement. It's not just a wetland; it's conservation easement, which you're not allowed to cross. Well, that just throws a whole nother wrench in the works.
right, and that's why you know, the creative minds of planning and zoning are gonna have to figure out how to make that work. I mean, we'll-
Dave, this is Tony Capon. Have you talked to Julia Hodge, who's the town planner?
Yeah, you know what, like, she's been on some of the emails, but it's more been kind of a support role in some of the information. I've never reached out to her. I wasn't sure, to be honest with you, I didn't realize she would be the person to discuss this with.
If there's anybody who can explain all the intricacies to you and who might, I'm going to say might here, be able to suggest a solution to planning and zoning.
Yeah, and so, again, it's kind of twofold, right? I mean, I've got the electric issue, which is totally separate, and then I've got this water line, which at least, that, you know, a well would put that to bed. I mean, the issue would be done, and then I just have to deal with the power and talking to neighbors about getting easements to put a telephone pole. To be honest, the 148 lot, there isn't any poles on the lot, but since it would cross the lot, I would need an easement. I think that would be a lot easier argument with the homeowner than to dig up the driveway to the lot. And the same with the homeowner at 140, I think it's 146. There would be a pole, there'd be actually be 2 poles on the driveway, which he owns the lot. Again, you know, I don't think it would have a big effect on him, but digging up the driveway, which 90% of it is on his land, you know, he may have more of a problem with. So if I could get the water issue resolved and just get approval for a well, then I could focus on the electric, and it would be an easy argument with the existing homeowner to just put a couple of poles on. And Eversource also told me that if they did put poles on the driveway, they would probably hook up 146 because his poles run through the woods, and that's what they're trying to avoid. That's why they wouldn't go down that lot, because they don't go through woods anymore. They have to go along the road. So that's an argument I could do with 146 for electric is, hey, you would be utilizing these poles as well as I would, and I would be paying for the installation of them. So I might be able to get away with getting the homeowner to agree to utility power easements. The water would be a tougher sell.
Well, I mean, we don't have to dig up his driveway to put water in. But why would we be crossing his driveway?
Well, when you get to the driveway, see, and that's another thing that I don't know enough about, but the easement area shows right up against the driveway. Well, the driveway, there's a culvert that runs underneath it. So
Right.
both sides of the driveway, the culvert sticks out and there's water going in on both sides. So to dig up, to go around that, you'd be going through that conservation easement. So I think the only way to do it is go down the driveway and dig up that culvert and then put it in after you're done. That's the only place on the map that doesn't show conservation easement.
Right, yeah, because that's where the wetlands gave you permission to do that, yeah.
Yeah, the initial approval was right at driveway, so I don't think you can go on either side of the driveway. I think you have to go right down it.
Yeah, I know, Ray, what do they do when they come to that problem? You try and get underneath the culvert?
Yeah, we would go either on the side of it. I mean, it depends on how much water's over there. I looked at that plan. I didn't see the conservation. I don't remember right off the top of my head. So it depends on how much water's in there. I think when we walked it, there was nothing. So might be something now. That's what they looked at. How much? It's only gone down 4.5 feet, 4 feet. Put it in, go on, and we don't damage a lot.
But can you do that while there's running water through the culvert?
Yeah, just put a pump in there, you pump the water to the other side. All the time, but yeah, we have to look at that plan to see how to get a conservation easement, and if you want to throw out that the other landowners all the water too, then really put an easement for each one of them to that driveway.
Yeah, I mean, so what I'm trying to think is you don't have to necessarily tear up the driveway. You know, I think that's just to ease your communication with your neighbors. I don't know if they'll have time with water, but that's their choice. To be honest with you, every one of those neighbors, including yourself, have paid an assessment. You've paid for that water, whether you want to or not, because there's a frontage. Your frontage, you are assessed by the tax person to have water. So that's the other part of this that you have to think about. Well, I don't know. So I think the suggestion I have is you're probably going to have to go back to Juliet and figure out how this all got done, what the original plan was. And unfortunately, I hate doing this, but as Sharon's saying, all we do is put water lines in. And we try, and you just heard from Ray, we try and solve the problem how we get water to your house with a minimum impact. So.
Well, I know on my application, Red Light did say there wouldn't be any impact if I put a well in, so. At least on their side, I think that's good news on the wetland, on the well exception application.
Yes, and they already approved a well on there when that subdivision was put together before the main water line in. I knew you had one question. Ray, when was that main put in? Do you remember what year? 2005, 6? Does anybody know? Do you know, Bill? When that went to the retirement facility?
So which line are you talking about it? Because the
12-inch line on Gallup Hill, going down Gallup Hill to the.
I think that would have been 2005 to 2007.
I thought so.
Yeah.
So Dave, I think that's what you were asking. It was put in 2006.
2006 is when the well was put in my neighbor's lot. And they must have known it was coming because the plan was developed in 2001 and it shows water lines, right? Even though the guy did put in a well. So, they must have known that.
Yeah, but the water line wasn't approved until 2005. It had to go to a vote. And it had to be funded. So there may have been a plan, but it wasn't approved till 2005, and then construction started.
Okay, well, I guess then my next step would be to reach out to Juliet and
Yeah, and I think you should have further discussions with the DPH about some of the things you're running into. I mean, but I think they're going to make sure that you've had a conversation with you. They would have, right? I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Are there any utilities on lot 148?
No, 148 is just a raw lot. There's nothing there.
They would have the same issues, it looks like, for water and electric.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they would. Without an easement, I don't know how they can do it.
Yeah, I haven't reached out to them yet, but I'm just told by the other neighbor there that they're not very easy because he's had some issues with them. So I'm not excited about having to reach out and discuss easements with them.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, well, I'll start with Juliet, and I'm going to continue my pursuit with the DPH to get the exception. They did send me a bunch of questions they wanted answered, and one of them, did have to do with the wetlands. So I sent a note to the Inland Wetlands Commission. What's his name? Justin?
Justin DeBro.
Yeah, Justin McGraw. I did.
He's the chairman, right?
Yeah, I sent him an email asking if he has any information on the wetlands and whether or not I could put a water line through there. So hopefully if he responds to the state and tells them, no, he cannot do that, then I have a better argument.
Yes, you would.
And Juliet is the staff person for both wetlands and planning and zoning.
Yeah, I think I did copy Juliet on that.
I would also question this argument that you can't put a water line through a conservation easement. I'd at least ask if that's true.
Yeah.
From Juliet.
Yeah, I definitely will. That came from Pete Gardner, and he's a lot smarter than I am on all these regulations and stuff, so.
Yeah.
I kind of took his word for it, but I will talk to Juliet about that and see if that is true the case.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, but I do know that we have put water lines through wetlands before, so.
Okay.
Good luck.
I appreciate you listening to me again. I kind of bothered you guys a bunch of times, but I'm just trying to get a house built, and it's been a big struggle. I do have.
We wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do have one kind of related but not related question. So right next to my lot, 150, is the water tank. And I understand that you guys are planning to remove that water tank. Is that still the case? And when might that happen?
Well, it should have happened sooner, but they were waiting for the ground to freeze. So, and there's some
I've
issues.
been waiting a long time.
No, the ground's frozen now, and they got another whole plan. They just outlined it today.
Yes. So the
Hopefully
plan,
happening soon.
yes. So the plan is to drain the tank and take that tank down in the next few months.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, just curious, because that is, I see it right from my lot, and it would be nice to get it removed. A little bit
It'll be
nice.
removed.
It's been committed. We've committed the funds. We're ready to go.
All right. Okay. Again, I appreciate it, and thanks for your time.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck. Okay. This item 4. The waste, we only got one bid, which is not surprising, for the feed pump system, the waste tank. When did that bid show? When did that bid show? Oh, it's still loading, guys. Be patient. The earth is patient. Power is slow. Okay, there we go. All right, so Bill, we're going to be asking for a. The only ones who bid it. It's $99,414 for the skid. We have an extra for a stainless steel base plate. Boy, I sure would recommend that rather than carbon steel. Base plate is what holds the whole unit up. So you saw the numbers, and this is just simply what's included in that bid.
Yeah, so you want to go to Matt Bonin. He's the new finance director.
Right.
Very familiar with Ledyard because he was our former accountant, partner with CLA, the auditors. So you want to approach him about a bid waiver.
Okay. This is the reason I'm pushing this is this is going to take. It's going to take 16 weeks. It's going to take a long time.
Do we get any bids for installation?
All right, so that's the good question. So the answer is no. And so here's our proposal. We think, Steve and I have been in conversation this for quite a bit now. There's several trades that we need to do, and these would be bid on contractors. It would be under $7,500. For example, we need to do a pouring of the concrete, so we need a specialist on that. Put holes in the concrete tank.
I know, but didn't we go out to bid? For the
Yes, we
installation?
did.
And
yes.
even the company that's gonna make it didn't bid on the installation?
No, because they don't do installations. So it's tough out there, guys. We're gonna be talking about this later. I know that Matthew's on the call right now, but it's really hard. But we've identified contractors that will bid. So Bill, the way we want to do this is that, for example, some of the piping work would cost $3,500. The concrete would be separate. The electrical, power electrical would be separate, and then the automation signal wire. And that's the 4 things that we would have to do. We would manage it ourselves.
But that's considered one project.
Yeah.
Right, but
And
there's,
it may be required to be bid.
But
Because
there's
the
not gonna
total
be-
amount,
there's going to be 4 different contractors bidding on 4 different items. They're not going to be the same contract. Now,
Yeah, but the project,
it's the total of the project. Yes.
Yeah,
The
So we-
project going to total more than $7,500.
yes, it will. It'll probably total about 25,000.
Right, so you may have to go out to bid because,
Well,
and
we
you
did,
need to make sure we have someone to install it before we order it.
well, we have identified contractors that will do it.
You identified it, but you don't know for sure.
Well, they're not going to do, so the contractor that's going to install it is not going to do the electric. The contractor that's going to install it is not going to do the automation. And he'll do the,
But no contractor bid on it, and he could have bid on it and hired those little components himself.
yeah, I know, and you're right. I don't know why he didn't do that. That's the tough thing. So I will get back, I'll get back to you on that. We have people that say they can do it. We have the electrical contractor said, yeah, I can hook it up.
Because we have the time to do it. Everything says, I'll do it, and we could have the same problem that we're having with the demolition of Gallup Hill tank. Guys been doing it now for months, and the tank's still sitting there.
Yeah, I know. And the contractor that is willing to install it is the one that fixed our water leak that we had earlier, that the burst pipe. And he will do the bypass and actually do the piping. But he's not going to do the electric. And I encourage them to, you're right, to talk to these guys and include one package. I mean, that would be the sensible thing to do. But they haven't stepped up to the plate to do that.
And can we approach the town council for a bid waiver based on the nature of the project that we're going to be acting as the general contractor and we're hiring subs, each of which will be less than 7,500?
I mean, that's what we're, Stan, that's exactly the approach we would have to do.
But so everything's, above board, it doesn't look like we're trying to sneak anything in. Say that's exactly what we're doing, and we would like the council's blessing on this.
so it is 5,000, not 7,500.
How it is.
Yeah, if you look at the chat, I looked up the ordinance, and between 5,000 and 15,000, you have to get 3 estimates, not bids. So a bid is the sealed bid, an estimate is just a quote. So go get the quotes and then see what they come back at it as, and then you can decide how you want to approach it, whether you have to get bid waivers or not.
Okay,
Typically, you get your quotes first, and then you say, all right, I got either quotes or bids. If you get less than 3, you apply for a bid waiver.
okay. We can do that. I mean, I can get those numbers from those guys, sure. In the meantime, though, do we need a vote on this for a bid waiver on the actual skid?
No, well, we gotta ask the council for the bid waiver, they did it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you have to vote to ask for a bid waiver. You just have to go to the council and ask for the bid waiver.
All right. Anyone see any problem with that? It's the only thing. If not, I'll talk to Roxanne.
So the other thing I'd say, Ed, is that if you're going to be the general contractor yourself, you still have to go to the council and say, we want to be the general contractor. Council refers it to PMBC, who says yes or no, and they turn it over to you. Because PMBC may want to, I'm sure they won't, but they may want to be the GC.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I certainly would hand it over to them.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be happy with you doing it, but you just got to follow the process.
Yeah, I'll well, that's right. Well, that's how we'll approach that. Yeah, I don't think there's, oh, yes, one other thing, don't we have to schedule a public hearing? Because this money is ARPA money?
Schedule a public hearing for what?
For this skid mounted pump station.
No, if you, I don't think so. Let me go back and look at the ordinance.
I thought we did, but I could be wrong. I
Why
thought,
would we need a public hearing?
because we're spending ARPA money.
Oh, ARPA. Yeah. I think you said our money. So, no, so the town council is going to do the public information session. We're not doing a public hearing. We're doing a public information session on all the projects, just to get public input. And you just need to make sure that this project is on the ARPA list. That's all you got to do.
But all right, so we're not actually spending the money, but we are gonna make a commitment if we tell Smithson, let us go ahead and start building the skid, right? I mean, as I said, it's a 16-week delivery, so. do we have to-
We don't want to build anything if we don't have people to install it and we don't have the money from the council.
Yeah, so that's the one concern. The concern about somebody putting it together, you're right. I will get that in writing. I'll get that commitment. Because right now, as far as I'm concerned, it was all verbal. So we'll just get them to put it in writing.
Yeah, so you need the bid waiver, but that doesn't mean you're going to sign the project. We still have to decide where the money comes from.
Right.
And we'll do that through the town council. And what we're doing is either we're deciding this is money we have to spend right away. I'll give you an example. We decided that we're going to pave or pour a concrete floor in the farmer's market, the VOAG barn. So the council can approve that. They can also approve the money for this pump system. So you need a bid waiver, then you get approval from the council to pay for it through ARPA funds. And if you don't, then you got to find the money somewhere else.
Before we make a commitment to them.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
So I'm going to look while you're talking, and I'll just see if I can find out if you're already on the list with it, if this project's already on the list.
Yeah, I think we were, but.
I do too.
Better verify it. Okay, so while you're doing that, we'll go to item number 5, which happens to be James Matthews on the thing. We were able to. I don't even. Oops, I don't know if I should. Big 5. Well, anyway, that just did it download. So I think you guys have seen this. So we have submitted the CCC grant, $1.38 million. Through the hard effort of Matthew and Western and Sampson. And so that is half of the 2.76. The town council did approve at least the concept and the submittal of the grant. One interesting thing is the grant puts a lot of weight on whether this is in the POCD, and it is. So this actual project was in the POCD. That gives us a lot of points to be able to hopefully get this. It was pretty extensive. I don't know how many pages. I think it's the grant itself is 30 pages, but the attachments, I don't know, Matthew, how many attachments were there? 14, 15 attachments?
Yeah, I think the attachments total almost 500 pages.
Yeah, 500 pages of attachments. So hopefully, I don't know why we wouldn't. I mean, this is a novel idea. I'm sure. We did have a planning session today. Bill Sons was in attendance, myself, and Steve Maslin, and Julie Hodges, and Weston Sampson, and I guess COG was represented too. So I guess COG's involved. Now, they're not too much involved in the low pressure sewer line. However, they are certainly supporting us in they're putting the sewer line in. Now, Bill, I have a question for you. Do you think I should send an email to Chris Conley and Kathy Austin to get their support?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
If the commissioners do not have any issue with that, I will send an email.
Yeah.
Both of them,
Absolutely.
and identify this grant and ask for their support.
Good idea.
I don't know how,
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
I don't know how much influence they have.
Oh, they do. So Kathy Austin has said in the past, if you're applying for a grant, let me know and I'll help.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
all right. So I will do that. So today, tomorrow, it'll be out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Ed, back to the feed pump station. It's not on the ARPA list that I have. So as part of your bid waiver legislative file,
Yeah.
just ask that, I guess, Juliet
Right,
to put it on the list. The mayor is keeping the list of projects.
right.
So, and I think I know he knows about it, but make sure that it gets on the list.
He actually told me he was gonna put it on the list.
Well, I don't see it.
I know, so that was a while ago. But he said, no, that project's on the list.
Yeah, so my list is dated January 20th, so remind him.
I will definitely get Juliet to put that on the list.
Yep.
I think it was to the tune of 175,000. Are we gonna spend that much? No. But we should allocate at least that. Because the construction cost isn't gonna be that expensive.
Yep.
Okay.
Can we put demolition of the old well houses on the ARPA list?
I don't think so, Stan. It's water and sewer lines are definitely a permitted use. I doubt that demolition is. There's a long document. It doesn't hurt to ask and go through it. And Juliet could also answer that. It's a good question.
Now, Matthew, is there any other thing you want to talk about on this, or we're just moving forward here?
One of the things that kind of came out of the meeting was that so far the sewer project has really piggybacked on the multi-use trail project and the progress that they've made. And then moving forward, there's a lot of benefit to switching that relationship around and doing some of the tasks that the pathway needs to be done as part of the under the guise of the sewer project, and then that way ARPA money could be used for something that would otherwise be a multi-use pathway. And I can give you some examples, like there's a little piece of surveying that needs to be done from the high school. Well, that survey information is needed for both the pathway and for the sewer extension. So if the sewer extension pays for it, then that qualifies for ARPA funding, but it benefits both projects. Another one would be there's some geotechnical rock investigation along the sewer route, which is needed so we can quantify what the rock removal is going to be, because we don't have that data from when they did the water main to help with quantify the pricing better for the contractors. But then that information can also be used for some couple of retaining walls that support some of the earth along the pathway. And that retaining wall is also going to help us to put the sewer force main on the side of the road instead of in the road. So again, designing that, designing the retaining wall could be a sewer eligible expense, because without the retaining wall, we can't put the sewer where we want to. So by flipping it back around the other way, these expenses suddenly could become eligible. The design and permitting and things like that can become eligible for the ARPA money, which some of these costs were not anticipated when they initially were looking at the project, the pathway project back in the beginning. So it's a big benefit to the town to do it that way.
We just have to be conservative about that, Matt, because we don't want to lose federal funding by spending ARPA funding.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and that was the way the community challenge application was written up. is the ARPA money is considered part of the local,
Yeah,
the local match.
right.
So that's programmed in there that way, basically.
Yeah, good. Okay. So yeah, if we get the community challenge grant, we actually free up a lot of ARPA money. So
Yeah, for other uses. So that would.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be terrific.
absolutely.
We do have a draft that we're working through of the, basically like a task amendment that would go through the sewer commission for this work. It's a task amendment for the contract you already have for some additional work. But we want to make sure we coordinate completely, behind the scenes with Juliet and also the town engineer and Ed, make sure we're all in agreement and not just really present this for the first time and say, hey, we need this task for a bunch of work. So since the meeting just happened today, I did draft up the amendment, but we haven't had time to subsequently discuss that breakdown in more detail. So
Everybody understand that? I mean, we're going with this.
So it's gonna move pretty quick. We just we just need just a little bit more time. We're really close to it. And then we can get authorized for the geotech investigations, surveying. We need to investigate the route for the phase 2 sewer between the high school and Pennywise Lane. Ed noticed a pretty good utility easement that might be set back from the road. What is it, 40 feet, which would be a great place to extend the low pressure sewer that way instead of digging up the street. It'd be less expensive, but then we can leave it with like a gravel path, which would considerably extend the multi-use pathway. But it's a sewer maintenance access way, technically, but public certainly could use it for the pathway. It's just leveraging what we need to do anyway for serving multiple uses. And then that's how you get a lot more value out of what we're doing.
Be a lot safer for the kids jogging.
Well, you have a high density residential area in Highlands that now has, and there wouldn't be much to complete it. You actually could go right through our pump station, but has now a safe way to walk from the Highlands to the high school and from the high school to Ledyard Center.
Yep.
We just
Go ahead. I'm just gonna say, just use a bike path or whatever you want to do. So,
we have to figure out who actually has that easement, what it's for, and how compatible it is with sewer, because the easement looks like it's for overhead utility
Right.
lines. So we'll figure all that out.
Yeah. Hey guys, I gotta get up real early in the morning, so I'm gonna have to bail.
all right, Bill.
Anything more for me before I go?
No, the only thing you should agree, we're going to discuss this right about now, is that Ian was of the opinion that the service contract for GU was not up this year, but if you look at the wording, it actually is. So we're going to try and combine the service and
Good.
my interpretation. I'm going to show the commission. My interpretation is it's up. We need to get both of them.
It was certainly the plan to get them tied together at the same, terminate at the same date.
And if you look at it, that's the way it looks like it's written.
Okay.
So I don't know why Ian thought it was another year. So that's just something that we'll have to discuss to make sure that finances is reading the same way we are.
Yep. Okay.
Did they have an 1-year extension possible, and that's why he thought it was for 2023?
It had an extension, but it was month to month. It actually,
Okay, but still, he looked at that date, and that's why he came up with 2023.
right. If you look at, well, it says right here, the term of this agreement shall be up to 3 years. But look at this, 23-month base period with a 1-year month-to-month option. So if I look at this, maybe year 3 is that month to month. I mean, I don't understand the 23-month base period. Month to month option period.
So 23 months is 2 years.
That's right.
And then 1 year, month to month, which really would have to be 13 months.
But it actually, no, it's not, because we didn't start this contract. We were a month into the year. before.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the last 23 months.
But
Right,
it does show, show a cost per year for it.
yes, it does, but I'm assuming that cost, I don't understand, it's a month to month. You're right, so it shows 23 months, so that would be 20, 21, 21 to 22. That's the 23 months.
Why don't we ask Ray, since it's a rotten utility contract?
Yeah, I guess, Ray, we need to understand this term. Section 3.
Yeah, that's not my contract.
It says rotten utilities at the top.
Last time I checked my name, it wasn't there, but anyhow. I thought when we first started, it was that last year was put in case you didn't want to match the contract for the water part. That's why you have the 23 months first, to try to match everything up. I thought that was the intent, was to have both go out the bid.
That makes sense.
That was our intent.
And it says option, so it's really, it's the WPCA's option to make it a 2 or 3 year contract, so.
Right. That's I agree with that.
Yeah, so, okay, if we're all in agreement, then I can tell Ian, no, we're gonna put both of them up. Until
Right.
finally, yeah, both are going up for bid. Okay, we need to get this done before, well, 1st July, right?
Well, no, before that, it's gotta go out and you've got a 30-day wait period, and then have to award the bid, so it needs to go out like in April.
Right, and,
Hey, guys, I'm gonna sign off. Have a good night. Good meeting. Bye.
Bye.